Hi Church, I'm Jacob, one of the elders in the First Congregation, and I just took over as the new church treasurer in September from Daryl. We are so grateful to him for his 4 years of service, and if you see him around, please thank him as well. As your new treasurer, I would like to give you an update regarding our 2021 surplus, our 2022 year-to-date finances, and our 2023 budget in progress. As you would have heard in April from Daryl, we had a very strong general fund surplus of almost $715,000. This surplus was partly because there were large savings on venues due to the COVID restrictions and some desired staff positions that were not filled. The elders have approved a portion of that surplus, $110,000, to go towards starting up the new counseling ministry in the coming year. We see this as a much-needed ministry to invest in, and in all, we have committed over $300,000 for this purpose over the coming years to hire personnel, train counselors, and logistical considerations. We are excited to see how God works through this initiative. The remaining surplus will at this point go into our reserves, and the staff and the elders are developing proposals on how best to direct or deploy the reserves we have so far in order to responsibly steward what God has given us. We will have more updates on this as proposals get firmed up. I'd now like to give you a financial update for 2022. For the sake of clarity, these numbers are for what we will call RHC Central, which means that they do not include expenses of the ECP or MCP plants. Year-to-date income to September is $4.05 million, which is down 7.5% versus the previous year. Part of the reason for this dip is the cost of church planting, as a number of our core members leave to support them. It also means that one way to support our mission of church planting is for those of us who stay to continue to be faithful with our tithes and offerings. Expenses have been heavier this year, following the hiring of 9 new roles to strengthen our teams in family ministries, community, and Sunday ministries, as well as further resumption of in-person events and meetings with COVID restrictions fully lifted. General fund spending year-to-date has risen to $3.28 million, but is still well within our projected budget for the year, running at about 86% of that. With income lower and expenses higher, and after our practice of taking off 15% of all income for missions and benevolence, if we continue at our current pace, we will finish the year at around flat, or maybe even a modest surplus compared to the large surplus that we had last year. We thank you for your faithful giving, but please do continue into this last stretch of the year. Finally, I would like to give you some important updates on the 2023 budget. This has been reviewed by the finance team and will be going to the elders for review later this month. Expenses are likely to go up significantly by about 22% or around $1 million compared to this year, to $5.5 million. Now this is a large increase and is driven mainly by higher event costs as well as staffing needs that have carried over from the hires that have been made this year into a full year next year, as physical gatherings continue to resume and we invest in consolidating and strengthening our church body after what has been such a disruptive couple of years. At the same time, we're also investing in exciting new initiatives like the counseling ministry, our ECP and MCP church plants, which we are continuing to support substantially as they get on their feet and prepare for becoming their own independent churches. We're also expecting some impact from inflation and the 1% GST that will be increasing next year. This is an exciting time for the church, and I would like to invite you to be a part of what God is doing here. We are not asking you to give just because we have a budget that we want to meet. We believe that giving ultimately flows from a grateful heart for what God has done in our lives, as well as a responsibility to be faithful with our resources in order to see the local church supported and the Great Commission accomplished. We ask that you would be faithful to pray and consider how God is calling you to use the resources that He has given you to steward and to partner with us in this mission. We are excited about 2023 and continuing to build on our vision for renewing Singapore and Asia by people, churches, and cities transformed by the gospel. Thank you, and I look forward to serving the church as your treasurer.